Hey y'all, Uncle Billy here again with what one might call a rant against the Republican Party and a few of their candidates' recent remarks regarding Americans on the low end of the pay scale. To start with, let me state that I am neither Republican nor Democrat. I am for the candidate which is the better fit for all people of America. And no, I am not running for any office, which is unfortunate for those on the lower stratum of the economic ladder. On November the 10th, 2015, this past Tuesday, workers in some 270 cities walked out in protest at low wages in the fast food industry. They were pledging to fight for $15. That same day, Republican presidential candidates said they would not raise the federal minimum wage. Donald Trump said the country is already losing too much to offer low-wage workers more. He stated that people have to go out and work really hard and they have to get into that upper stratum, like he's in, I guess. He also said America is being beaten on every front, including economically, militarily, taxes are too high, wages are too high. We're not going to be able to compete against the world. I want to add to Mr. Trump's logic that we don't want to compete against the rest of the world. We want a decent wage in which to raise our families here in America. And I would like to see a list of the percentage of those whose wages he states are too high. Surely not his. We want to eat and pay our bills. We put in the hours and the time, and we want what is fair to all Americans, not just the top few. The economy is not the way it is because of the American worker. American workers are in the shape they are in because of the mishandling of our economy by those on the higher rungs of the ladder. The federal minimum wage for covered non-exempt employees is $7.25 per hour, effective July 24th, 2009. That was, of course, 8 years ago. Had the cost of living adjustment kept up with inflation since our last federal minimum wage increase, we would now be making $21.75 per hour on the bottom rung of the working man's ladder. This is merely keeping up with inflation. Apparently, the Republican Party feels that eating is not really that important to the working man and his family. Contraire, my wealthy presidential candidate. We all need to eat to exist. We have too many people working and still on welfare. That is totally ridiculous, to put it very, very nicely. Right now, we cannot get enough people to work at companies paying just above minimum wage. Those employees who do go to work for these greedy companies work only long enough with them until they can find a better paying job. And many of these companies are multi-million-dollar corporations. We have jobs needing to be filled, but no one to fill them at such bottom-scraping wages. I personally know this to be a truthful and factual statement. And many of those working for them are unable, for one reason or another, to find better paying jobs. Retired neurosurgeon Ben Carson, rivaling Trump for the lead in the GOP race, said that raising the minimum wage only increases joblessness in the United States. Every time we raise the minimum wage, he said, the number of jobless people increases. Where is your proof of that statement, Mr. Carson? And then he goes on to say, how do we allow people to ascend the ladder of opportunity rather than how do we give them everything and keep them dependent? That, Mr. Carson, is one of the biggest put-downs to the American people I have heard in a very long time. We are not speaking of welfare here. We are talking about proud American workers. Get real, will you? Everything keeps going up in our economy except for a worker's wages. As long as these big corporations are allowed to get by with paying next to nothing to their employees, that is what they will pay. They are greedy and extremely selfish. Florida Senator Marco Rubio stated that raising the minimum wage would make people more expensive than a machine. Mr. Rubio, people's lives are worth much more than machines, and shame on you, Donald Trump, and Ben Carson for thinking otherwise. All lives matter, not just those in your upper stratum. If a man or woman are working full-time hours to make a living for his or her family, he or she deserves fair and decent wages. Either bring the cost to live back down or pay us decent wages. I personally will not vote for any candidate for President of the United States who will not put the American workers first when all they are asking for is a fair wage. I hope no one else out there will do it either. That's all I have to say about that. Please share this video if you like it, or even if you don't and wish to share it, go ahead. The link is below if anyone is interested in reading the article. And please be cautious who you vote for, America, and make it a good day. All comments are also welcome.